But just to kind of get started, so you said you play Rosa Olimar secondary. I assume
Yeah,
today you want to focus primarily on Olimar since that's something that, while I can obviously help with Rosa, Olimar is my specialty. Um, do you want
right.
me to start out as my own Olimar and we ditto, or do you want me to start with a different character and kind of gauge where you're at? Depends on your comfortability with it.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Well, to be honest, the Armadillo super fun, but it does get very confusing because
Yeah, it's an acquired
who's
skill set.
women first of all, like,
No, that's fine. That's fine.
like,
I can go someone a bit more traditional.
I was gonna say, who else? I mean, do you play for that matter?
I mean, I can play other characters at a competent level. I can play Lucina, a
Yeah,
nice
that
average character that's just going to give you something that, the character will call your bullshit and also be very consistent. I'm not going to hit you some super specialized one. So I'll start with Lucina, and then we can kind of, what is it? Not gauge. Like roll into the Olimar, the Olimar later on, so I can just show you some things in the way I'm playing that matchup. Because the concepts I apply in that, you can use to understand how people fight Olimar, as well as how you can punish certain things.
that's great.
Sounds good. Apologies for the lag.
You're
I'm
good.
not sure if it is me. I've been having some issues. If it is, and it gets like really unplayable, I can just try and reschedule. But we'll play it by ear. I just know I'm a little dumb. I've got some things I'm working on to try and fix it, but it's kind of like got to test each individual thing at a time.
Right, yeah, that's kind of a process. What?
Yeah, it's got a pretty wide hitbox. Taking my shield out on there. No, it did be reversed. It's alright, it's alright. I'll just wait a second, wait for you to drop shield. Um, just right off the bat, things I noticed is there's times where I feel like you'd hit me and you wouldn't be totally sure where I was gonna go. So you would
Okay.
maybe go for like a default option. Like there was an instance where I believe you down tilted me, and then instead I was expecting an up air, right? Because I was gonna go in. Because a lot of the times, when you because all right, let me try and set the stage. I give you some context. I was at the lead to the stage on the left side, right? So I'm on the blast zone side, or I'm on the blast zone side. You're on the inside of the stage, so you're the one kind of pushing stage pressure. and I believe you down tilted me. It might have been an up smash, but the point is you hit a move that sent me straight up. So my thought is, okay, up air, right? That's probably going to send it a nice angle to where you're going to be able to hit me because I was at a mid percent, like a 60 to 70-ish. And then you jump and you went for a fair, didn't miss. I think that's one of those instances where when you hit with these moves, whether it be down tilt, up smash, jab, whatever it is, you want to try to have an idea on where your opponent's going to go. And this is going to apply for any character you're playing, but just, in this specific case, Olimar, you need to try and go, okay, what is the way they're going to DI? If I'm hitting them at the ledge, right? If they're facing the blast zone and they're in a threatening position, they're probably not going to DI out on a lot of things, especially on Wi-Fi, no less, because you can't react to things on Wi-Fi, right? Like, I have to know you're hitting me, and then I have to just instinctually go, time to DI in. And that's why when I play Olimar, I can catch people a lot of the times with a jab at the ledge, and then I read their jump DI in, and I back at them, and they die. Because I know that their response is DI away from the blast zone, which is smart in a lot of cases. But the up air is kind of one of those things where even if I do DI out, if you go in with the up air, if you react to it, you kind of like chase with me. It's such a wide hitbox that you can sometimes catch. So I think when you're looking for your follow-ups and things like that, you want to try and be a bit more like pull from your own experience and your own understanding of the character, so that you can fill in the blanks and you have a better idea of where your opponent's going to go.
Okay.
And then definitely just gotta watch out on your Pikmin. Like sometimes, it's really obvious when you want to go for a blue grab. So just try and be a little bit more covert about it, especially when you're fighting someone who knows how to fight Olimar. They're going to be watching that just as much as you. Wow, I'm really surprised that missed. So that game, I kind of was a little bit more warm with my hands. I was catching on to just that one game of the previous Olimar. I was like, okay, you like to do this, this, this. And what my biggest thing that I noticed was you're kind of, how do I put this, slow in the sense that you don't keep your kind of gameplay train moving all the time, right? Like, it's not to say you necessarily decide things
like
slow.
Stop and go.
Yeah, it's stop and go. That's exactly it. And by doing that, there's always a time and place for it. But the way I like to view the game and the way I always tell people is you want to have your flow of your gameplay never stop. And that doesn't mean you always have to attack, but it means you need to be actively thinking or registering information at the time, right? Like, both of those down air spikes I got on you, for example, weren't really true. They were kind of just, you sat there and took them, right? Like, I hit you and I knew, let me run off down air. Had you air dodged, had you jumped, whistled, hit me, all these different other options, those could have changed the course of it. But I was able to exploit your kind of slowed pace of gameplay to punish you. So I think whenever we're fighting, you want to be mindful of that and go think, okay, I just attacked, or I just got attacked. What's the next step in the game plan? Am I approaching? Am I defending? Or he just hit me. What do I do now? Do I just DI away and hope for the best? No. You go hit and you go, okay, what's happening here? Let's evaluate the situation. Right?
Right. Okay.
All right, give me 1 sec to mark something down, and then we can start up the next game.
Yeah, you're cool, man.
I might swap off of Lucina into some other more generic top tier, maybe like Wolf or something, to just give you a little different vibe and keep you on your toes as well. I did not think that was going to spike.
I didn't think so either.
So that game, obviously a step up from the last game. You know, you were able to take a stock that was really solid. I noticed you were you translated the way to kind of keep the flow going into pressing buttons, and I think that's fine in some cases, right? As long as it's working, that's the important thing. Didn't work perfectly, and after the kind of the first time you took your stock, I adjusted my game plan a little bit, and I was able to just kind of keep you in this advantage. But I thought the way you took my first stock was really good. Punish, punish, up air, and you kind of just hovered around, right? Like you were like, I don't need to go all the way up there. I'll let you come down and maybe exploit the fact that you didn't press a button fast enough. And it's that general mindset that you want to carry through in your game plan. So you're always finding a way, or you're always kind of scouting a way to get an edge or to punish your opponent. It doesn't always translate to something. It doesn't always mean you're going to attack, but it's just a little like, the fact that you're looking for it is the important thing, right? Because
so
that means...
Sorry. Mind of like short? No, you're talking about like short hopping and just like jumping.
Not even short hopping or committing. Sometimes Olimar's unique in that you can go for things like side B sometimes, and that can help a lot. Because it's kind of, you can do it from far away and it's not super committal, and it kind of forces a response out of your opponent. But just sometimes moving at them, even in some cases, you know, maybe if someone's sitting across the map and they're not doing anything, you could start, you know, throwing Pikmin away and getting purples or something, and that can force a response out of your opponent. You have a lot of different ways to do that with Olimar, because he can play from so many different ranges, and he has different strengths and weaknesses depending on where he's at. But just kind of like keeping it going. And I'll show you what I mean better. Ooh, nice. I'll show you what I mean better when I swap over to Olimar, and I kind of keep things moving, maybe in a movement sense, or my Pikmin, or if I'm punishing you or things like that. It won't always equate to me attacking you. And there are times where you can stay still, but the big thing is, like, don't let your guard down mentally, right? Like when you were off stage a couple of games ago.
Right. So is there like a specific lineup I should be trying to aim to go for, or is that kind of the matchup dependent?
It's more than match. It's like matchup and percent dependent. Like if you're at if they're at a kill percent, you know, you're not gonna really want a white that often, unless you're like they're at such a kill percent that you're going for like a white up throw. You know?
Right.
Purples are generally the best thing on average. I personally really like yellows as well because they have the additional range and you can combo well with them. But I think, oh shit. I think going for purples will be your best bet on average. But feel it out. I mean, every type of Olimar has their own unique style of the way they like to manage their Pikmin. You know, I very much favor purples and yellows, but I know someone like Shuton tends to not do double purple that often and really likes his reds. So there's different ways you can do it, and that's something you'll kind of feel out in the moment. But just whenever you're going for a certain Pikmin, try to understand why you would have chosen that color in the first place. You know, like if I down smash to the ledge, I want it to be a yellow for a bigger hitbox. Or if I grab with a blue, it's because it'll kill. Or if I grab with a red, it's maybe I want the less knockback for the down throw, or down throw or bear or something like that. So they each have their own distinct advantages and drawbacks. And if you can recognize those, you're going to have an easier time going, okay, I want this color in this situation. It's just really easy with things like blues or purples, because purples have knockback and hit hard, and blues kill with throws.
Oh shit.
No, keep side being on accident. Solid game though in the beginning. You know, you were kind of exploiting. You caught my dare whenever you grabbed the ledge there, that first stock. Obviously, if I'm talking mid game, it's gonna be a little different, but that's just, you know, you're able to keep going and you're exploiting me if I'm letting up a little bit. And just because I'm talking here, I mean, you might get something in another set where you're fighting someone and you might hit them with some stupid Olimar combo that does 80%, now they're tilted, right? And then you exploit that. That's the nature of the beast of the character. But do you feel like you're kind of looking now more to be more active with the character as opposed to segmenting it as much? Do you feel like you have to put a noticeable effort into doing that?
Yeah, I mean, for a while, I mean, Olimar was my main for a while, and it kind of felt like I hit a plateau.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually started out playing. I mean, I wasn't very competitive in Smash 4. I kind of got to in between, like, towards the end of it.
Yeah.
But actually, I played Sonic.
Okay.
Always my favorite. But then, to be honest, I got annoyed playing. I was the biggest, like, oh, it's not that bad, and all of a sudden, I just saw myself this bad, so I really hate myself.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
So, I mean, the Buzz was always my favorite player starting out, and I thought, this seems really stupid. And I thought, I could never see myself playing that. And then I did one juggle from Lumen to Rose and thought, oh, this shit's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, before I picked up Olimar back in Brawl, I thought he was the dumbest character in the game, so, you know, things have a funny way of working out like that.
I was, like, in middle school then, so then when I was playing Olimar, like, I got Pikmin when I was, like, 6 years old when it first came out. Like, I was, like, a humongous Pikmin.
Yeah.
That's the reason I play Olimar. The game's amazing, and plus he's hilarious.
Yeah.
How can he's just tossing Pikmin, it's the greatest thing.
And then he hits as hard as Bowser out of nowhere.
Exactly. Oh, shit. Oh, son of a bitch. Yeah, I didn't talk my life for that.
No, you're good. But yeah, it's important, I find, to play someone who you click with, and that can change over time. Like you said, you started out, you're a big Sonic fan, and that's totally understandable. Play who you like, you know. But then you find out over time, like, maybe this isn't what I'm looking for in the long term, so you swap. Some people like me are very ride or die with what they play. You know, I'm been Olimar exclusively in, like, a serious sense for the last, like, almost 8 years. And then you have people who are more inclined to switch when they feel it's not really meeting their goals. And that's important. So the thing about Olimar is that he kind of can fill multiple roles. You know, the traditional thought is he's campy, he plays defensive, whatever. And you can do that. I mean, like you said, DeBuzz was, you know, your favorite player and stuff like that. So he is known for his defensive walling capabilities, especially with Olimar over the years.
That's how I'm also kind of known among my friends, so that's why it doesn't really bother me. It's kind of how I...
Yeah. And that's totally cool. Like, play to your strengths, play to how you enjoy. And when I tell you kind of to maybe increase the general pace or flow of your game. That's not to say don't do that. I mean, take DeBuzz, for instance. He is a very, methodical player who puts up a really good wall, but he's also fantastic at stopping aggression by kind of snubbing out their approach. He's good at anti-airing with some of his aerials with Olimar or Rosa or something, right? He can stop you before you get to him, and that's what I'm talking about. He's not letting his guard down. And then he knows, like, oh, I get my hit, now I can punish and go from there.
Right.
And that's good. If you like to play a more if you like to play a more defensive game, you're gonna have to kind of understand that for your gameplay. I think Rosa and Olimar both can put on that wall, at least depending on certain characters. But when you fight someone who plays a bit faster, it's gonna be harder. You're fighting a Wolf or a Fox or a Roy. They're gonna rush you down.
That's what I have a lot of problems with. I don't know if you're doing the training session with my friend or not, but he plays Greninja, and I mean, as you know, Greninja is very aggressive board hopping,
So, unfortunately, we both had to reschedule just because he's had work and things like that. But I can use Greninja as an example. So, let's take Greninja, right? He's a very, very fast character, has some solid shield pressure with things like neutral air and forward air. Now, at face value, you go, okay, this is rough. Greninja has good movement speed, he has combos, and he can hit kind of hard, and he has safe buttons. Well, then you need to look at what are Greninja's flaws. Okay, his out of shield game is abysmal in that he doesn't punish things out of shield. He retreats. He jumps away, right? His recovery can be exploitable. If he shadow sneaks to the ledge and you shield it, you down air him. If he up Bs to the ledge and you're good about it, you can down tilt him or down smash him with Olimar, right? And kill him. Greninja dies. Stupid easy. He's just light. And so those are your exploits. And then another one is his moves combo well and they're safe, but they don't have the best startup. Forward air is slow. Neutral air is slow. Jab is frame 3. It's good, but he's not getting much off that. Then his other faster moves, dash attack and down tilt, not safe on shield. So then you can go, okay, well, if he's got to fall on me with the neutral air and the forward airs, I can potentially snub him as he's rising. He's not going to rise with the neutral air, probably. Or at least not if he wants to combo me and things like that. So then there gives you places to intercept that there. If he's sitting on the ground and he's playing more grounded game with down tilts and dash attacks, you can play a little bit slower, kind of hold your own ground with him, bait things out. You shield a lot. If he shields, you can maybe back air if he crosses you up, or you can up smash if he doesn't, right? So you need to try and compartmentalize the different aspects of his gameplay and go, what are his strengths and weaknesses? Now, you'll get into certain matchups where it's a little bit harder to do that. You look at someone like Wolf, who's a bit more all-encompassing with his power. And I speak strictly in an offline setting for this, because online kind of removes some of the outplaying element, just due to the unreactability of things. But offline, you would go, okay, well, Wolf's a lot stronger, so what do I do? Well, maybe I need to be even more proactive about stopping him from coming in. Maybe how I mentioned how DeBuzz was really good with using his walling pressure to anti-air things like Wolf's to keep him out, right? So what you would do then is go, all right, well, if he's got these good buttons that he can approach with his speed, I need to start recognizing where he's jumping, where he's starting to commit his option, right? That won't always ensure that you know what they're going to do, but it gives you a basis to then start kind of breaking down their gameplay. If you're getting neutral aired or forward aired by Wolf all the time, you need to pay attention to the spacings relative to you at which he does it.
Okay.
And there's a lot there, and this isn't something I expect you to go, like, immediately play the next day and apply all of this, but it's the concepts that I want to kind of instill in you so you can go, all right, I'll start recognizing these little things here and there, and then over time you get progressively better because you've already started to hold yourself accountable and call yourself out on it.
Right. Gotcha.
Ooh, that's unfortunate.
So here's another good question. When I have a purple, what do I always want to go for using? What is like the most terrifying use of it that is, I guess, the most optimal?
It's generally side B. Funny enough, outside of like forward air and down air, purple side B is your safest move. Or sorry, forward air and back air. Because forward air and back air -3 or 4 respectively with the purple. But purple side B fresh is -6, which the only other move that would come close to that would be able to tie with that is like the second sour spot of up smash, like the one all the way at the top of the hitbox. Which is already like stupid hard to hit on grounded people because they would be on the ground to begin with. So purple side B, and I'll show you probably when I end up going Olimar, is such a good option because, you know, if it's purple 6 up close, it's now even safer, potentially even plus, when I throw it from a distance and I approach, right? Because the -6, I guess I should preface. Are you familiar with how to read and understand the frame data?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. So if it's -6 when I do it point blank, you know, that's me finishing my animation. If I throw it at you and then I move with it, and it hits your shield, it's just a block string at that point. Because I'm already out of the animation. I'm already free to move. And it hits you calling it shield stun, and you have a setup. There's so many times where I've, you know, someone's at the ledge, and my lineup say a purple and a blue. They're at kill %. They get it from the ledge. They do like a regular get up. And I purple side B as I'm running at them because I'm a little bit away from the ledge. Force a shield because they don't want to get hit. You know, they don't want to roll because they're going to roll into me. Force a shield. It hits them. Guaranteed blue grab. And it's that kind of layered pressure that you can implement with purple Pikmin and just Pikmin in general that will allow you to kind of take the Olimar to the next level. And that's why like the really, really good Olimars can touch someone once and they kind of just melt because there's so much damage there because they're setting like the stage so the Pikmin line up into a really effective method. So I think purple side B is the best thing. Purples in general are my favorite Pikmin. I like to use them. They provide a additional gameplay element because that side B has knockback. It's a great defensive tool. It gets people off you. You can use it anywhere as long as you have it. And the cool thing is when you side B a Pikmin on shield, it bounces off of your shield, right? So and then when it bounces off your opponent's shield, you can immediately reuse it. So if you have one Pikmin and you purple side B, this doesn't have to be purple, works for any colors on shield. But if you like throw a Pikmin on someone's shield and it bounces, you can immediately re-grab it and then use it for something. So you could like purple side B fair with the same Pikmin instantly. And that's a great way to apply shield pressure because fair is also safe if you space it right, generally against most characters, as well as they could just try and punish, you know, the purple side B and then get faired. So there's a lot of mix-up potential there because you don't always have to do the same timing. It's not like a wolf neutral air into this. Like, there's a lot more variability there, which I think creates a harder to counteract gameplay, and it's why there's so many players who can do really good against Olimar, but then can still lose when the Olimar gets like 2 purples or 1 purple and starts using it really well.
Gotcha.
That was unfortunate.
It was.
Yeah, sometimes things aren't safe on hit.
There's probably never really a good time to use forward tilt, is there?
No, there is. It's probably his most specific move in that it's slower than forward smash, so generally you wouldn't want to use it. And it doesn't hit as hard as like a purple F smash, but its benefits come in that it isn't a Pikmin attack, so you don't need a Pikmin. And it won't clank because it's also not a Pikmin, or be reflectable. You know how like your smash attacks will clank with aerials. That, you know, maybe a Sonic spin, this is a really niche example, but maybe a Sonic spin dashing you, and you don't want to risk your smash attack losing, so you just F tilt and hit him. And then now his move loses, because F tilt does have a little bit of a disjoint to it.
Okay.
So there are niches there. I actually have a I don't know if you've seen it. I have a video on my YouTube that I can link you after this if you want that breaks down all of Olimar's normals.
Actually, I have watched it.
You have? Yeah. And there I break down some uses of F-tilt. It's a niche move by far, so don't feel too bad if you're not using it. But in the instances that you would want to use it, it kind of stands out, I think. Similar to things like dash attack or up tilt, where they're more used than I think F tilt, but it's not like your go-to button to press all the time. I'm doing pretty good there with the purples, you know. Even then, you saw you had them. Like, it helped your recovery so much, just that side B. It's just like, you have to respect this button. Even if I don't hit you, it can just sometimes guarantee that you get back to the ledge, and that can create a different gameplay environment, which can let you win. Alright, after this game, I'm going to try changing characters.
You got it.
3, 2, 1, go!
Oh, I thought I was going to make that. I was hoping.
What? Oh, son of
Yeah, purples do that especially. If you find them not coming back with a whistle, you might need to do multiple ones, but sometimes that won't even work. Jumping is generally the best way to like re-sync them to your whistle. It's really dumb, I know, but that's the way Olimar works.
It's the world we live in.
Yeah. Overextended just a hair with that one. If you would have stayed under the platform, I think it would have worked much better.
That's what I've been learning a lot more about recently. Go overextending. I didn't realize until I was like, I'm doing so good, but why am I getting beat up for it? I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what overextending is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely mindful to be, it's important to be mindful, especially when you're fighting a character who's able to quickly punish things out of shield like that.
For sure.
Right, let me swap characters. Try going Wolf for a few games, and then since I don't take up all the time, I'm going to play some Olimar just so I can kind of give you a more direct comparison.
Yeah, please. I don't know what happened.
That's just how it is sometimes. Oh, nice.
Thank you.
Nice. Nice. I like that. I DI'd in trying to avoid the... Or I DI'd... No, I DI'd out there, but I went up. So that was good. That was good capitalization.
Oh, thank you. I didn't expect that to work as well as it did. I thought I was just, like, I didn't think I was gonna actually get the meteor. I thought I was just gonna like sour.
I was
spot it,
expecting Sour Spot as well.
but I thought, oh well, all right.
Yeah, no, it was good. That was good. I found it interesting that you went for the up throw twice at like the mid percent, but I guess you wanted to juggle.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. As long as you have like a good reasoning for it, I think it's fine to go for those things, you know?
Well, what would you have done in that case?
I
instead?
probably would have forwarded back thrown to go for stage control.
Okay. When you get stage control, what do you try to optimize? Just like
For me,
like back spacing, or get in there with smashes exactly.
are you saying like when I've got them off stage?
When you go for stage control, what is step 2?
I mean, if I've got them, like, let's say I grabbed right there and I went for, like, a back throw and I put you off stage or close to the ledge. Now I'm going to run up and try and punish you at the ledge just because I tend to like that type of punish for me. So it'd be like, maybe if I think you're going to down or up B to the ledge, or side B to the ledge, sorry, I'll go for, like, a yellow down smash because I know that'll beat it. Or if I think you're going to go for an up B to the ledge, I might try and down tilt it and then punish you there. Or I might wait and just try and ledge trap you. It's dependent on how I'm feeling at the moment and the character I'm fighting. It's not like a... You're not going to find a one-size-fits-all option.
Pretty much, right.
But it's just like, where are you comfortable in exploiting your newly found advantage at? Do you want to ledge trap? Do you want to edge guard? Do you want to, you know, wait for them to get on stage? Like, there's a lot you can do there. Maybe you don't want to overextend because you have, like, a lead. You don't want to try and risk losing it. That's fine. It's just be mindful of what you're doing so that you know why you're doing it. Let me put it that way. It won't always work, sure, like, you'll mess up, but as long as you're like, okay, I wanted to go for my down tilt here because I thought I was going to hit his ledge, or hit him on the ledge.
Ah, some of it did.
Or land on the platform. No!
Oh,
Excellent. Whew, that's so close. So you started out really strong there, kind of catching me off guard. But then as that set went on, I was like, okay, well, how can I make it harder for him? So I started being a little bit more deliberate with my neutral airs on you, trying to kill your Pikmin, just pressure you there.
Right.
What was your thought process going on through that game? Were you feeling like, um,
I was feeling like I needed to get you out of center stage. I thought I was doing pretty well with keeping you, not keeping you edge guarded, but just getting damage with you off stage.
yeah,
It felt like your advantage was definitely on the ground, more towards the center. But the more I pushed you out, the more my Pikmin could do the work for me. It felt like, but up close and personal, like just like you said, you were annihilating every single one.
yeah, and Wolf as the character definitely does that. He has great, really strong buttons that are safe. They just cut through things, no problem on Olimar. So you had the right idea there, where it's like, let's keep him away from me, away from center stage, and where I can control the pace of things. And that's what you want to be doing. And then you'll kind of fill in the blanks there as you get him wherever you want. If he's off stage, you'll decide, do I want to down tilt? Do I want to try and, punish him here? Or do I want to keep out playing him in neutral? Or what is it that you're doing? Because you definitely want to push advantage on these characters when you can, but you got to be smart about it. Because if you overextend at the wrong time, and then they end up getting a reversal, it can get really bad.
Right.
That happens too.
It's like a Sonic's up smash, kind of.
Yeah. Oh, I've literally seen Diddy Kong jump over my grab, from up smashing. Oh man.
As calculated.
Of course, of course.
3000 IQ plays out. When I do a down, any kind of down throw, what is like the best thing to do out of it? Because I feel like whenever I go for a down throw, no matter what I do after, I'm whipping it.
So, down throw is one of those weird moves that it's kind of really loaded in that you have to pay attention to. I'm going to list every factor here. Your rage, their percent, the character they are, like so if they're a fast faller, if they're floaty, whatever it is. Did you dash grab, pivot grab, or standing grab? Did you grab with 1 or 3 Pikmin, or 1, 2, or 3 Pikmin, although that one's a little bit more minuscule, so it probably doesn't really matter that much, as well as what color Pikmin you're grabbing with. Because down throw has also how they DI. Down throw has a bit of a steep outward angle that if they DI away, it can be very easy to get away from them, right? To get away from Olimar. And that can make it difficult to follow up. So if you're using like 3 Pikmin, blue grab, and I'm at like 15% and I DI away, you might not get a follow-up on someone like Wolf because he has good airspeed, right? If it's someone like Bowser, yeah, you could probably hit him. But if someone a bit faster, you might not be able to catch them in time, right? So maybe you go, oh, maybe I'll just forward throw here and try and tech chase them or something. But if you grab with a red, you go...
So you're
okay.
saying...
What's up?
Oh, I'm so sorry. What I was saying is, so characters that are more floaty are going to be easier to hit off the down throw attack?
Not necessarily, because they can sometimes go up and farther away. It's really dependent on all the factors. I mean, there's times where when I dash grab, when you dash grab with your grab, you're actually closer to them than if you standing grab or pivot grab, so that can make it easier to follow up sometimes. If you think they'll DI in, which people do, you can go for up smash at low percents. Or if you know they're like a heavy and they're big and you're following up with like a yellow up smash that has bigger range, yeah, you're gonna down throw up smash them like every time. So it's something you'll have to figure out as you're fighting each character, like what is their general way to get out of my things. Fair is generally the best thing to hit them with, though. Because it's kind of the most encompassing and can catch a lot of area.
There's not anything I can do about that, can I?
You have to tech the jab.
Gotcha.
Oh, sorry.
So many purples.
Yeah, it's kind of my thing.
Called them Gilbert Grapes for me. One kind of has their own different variation of it, but like whenever I get coming off the edge with the purple, I call it a purple pounder.
Purple pounder. That's funny.
There's all sorts of fun names for it.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you do your thing. I call mine the girls. You know?
The girl?
The girls. Monique. Monique and the girls. So that right there. What are your first thoughts after playing that?
You're very organized. You're very, I don't mean this in a bad way, but linear.
No, totally unfiltered thoughts. You can't hurt my feelings.
The way you're very like, you know exactly what you're trying to do in terms of your rhythm of throwing to fast falling, forward airing, to
yes.
jabbing, to down tilt. It's like it's happening not the same, but like it's like a set code that you know exactly how to crack it.
Yes, it's like a well-oiled machine that goes, and that is kind of what I was talking about, at least in the way I execute that, in that I keep my flow going, right? Like it's bang, 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 bang. And that's just, I typically like to do that. I'm a more aggressive player. That doesn't mean it always works. There's plenty of times where I get a little bit too aggressive, and I get punished for it. So if you watch enough of my sets, you'll see me camp people out. I'll play defensive. I'll do what I gotta do. But I want to use that first stock as an example of, oh, Myron's off stage, he's in disadvantage, and I got nared and I'm dead. Like, I always look for a chance to kill my opponent, right? I don't care if I'm in disadvantage, I don't care if I'm in advantage. My thought is, how can I exploit that?
Definitely.
But yes, it is very methodical, and I mean, I've been doing this for so long that everything's kind of where I want it a lot at the time. And that's something that comes with just a lot of practice. But a lot of my options are kind of influenced in the moment by, what did you do here? Like, okay, you missed the tech here. Oh, you did this. Oh, you did that. And that is something that I think you'll start to incorporate into your gameplay the more you actively try to do it. So you can adjust your lineup accordingly. And then it'll affect your decisions. Sometimes you're just too stuck side being it's got too much lag.
Pretty much. Just absolute madness. When all this madness
Yeah,
together.
it takes a lot to get the hang of it, or else you can get lost in all the stuff that's going on.
Oh, there we go.
It's honestly my favorite matchup because I get twice as much Olimar, but I think it's a great way whenever you play it, if you play against me right now or just other Olimars, that you can use to go, let me kind of check myself on how I understand this character. Do I understand how to pressure him properly? Because if you understand how to pressure Olimar properly yourself, that means you're going to understand your weaknesses and what kind of pressure you're going to lose to, right? If you know this isn't safe, this is safe, I can do this, then you should have a good way to handle the response. And when you're fighting someone like me, you're going to get someone who's a little bit more tailor-made to that. I will call out your Olimar weaknesses. I will call out your Olimar habits. And then you can kind of look intrinsically and go, okay, what is he calling out? What is he punishing? And once you do that, you can then kind of reverse engineer it and try to minimize your opponent from doing it in the future.
Oh shit, I was watching the wrong all.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. Like there, you DI'd in, I down throw Roy Bear you. That was a good example of where you had two purples and you decided to opt for a down tilt where maybe like a short hop side B would have been the play, especially, you know, had you noticed my line and been like, oh, he's got a blue.
Gotcha. Wrong one again.
Like there, I definitely would have backed them. It's going to do a lot of percent, and you're not going to kill me with the up throw. So you're just, yeah, you can try and go for a juggle situation, but it's probably not going to end up amounting to a kill, you know? Whereas you put me off stage, it's going to do more damage than the up throw. Back throw does the most damage. It's like 21%, I think, or 20% with a blue, with one Pikmin. And then you put me in an instance where I might still recover high anyway, and you're getting more damage. And I'm in an awkward spot because I'm off stage.
Okay.
But yeah, the Olimar as a character, and something that this matchup will really drill into your head is you need to be aware of everything. What your Pikmin are doing, and when you're fighting an Olimar, what their Pikmin are doing, what the general game state is, and that's going to help you kind of keep up with watching blues or any other Pikmin so you're not getting grabbed nearly as much.
Right.
As well as your own line, so that you can then change your gameplay accordingly. You can be like, oh, I've got a blue, I've got a purple now, let's adjust, instead of just going, I attack, and whatever Pikmin's there is what's there. You don't want to play Olimar like that, because you're just making the worst out of it when you can do so much more. Like, you'll get situations where you'll attack what's there, but on average, like, you would want to have some, level of deliberate intention with your Pikmin attacks.
Okay. Back throw again.
As long as you're starting to like realize that there's probably better options, that's the important thing.
Right, yeah, I'm starting to understand.
Because it's gonna take a bit to rework the muscle memory and the habits and stuff. But just make sure that you're constantly like, whenever you do make that bad choice or that choice that's, could have been better, you're like, why did I do that? Or should I, try to stop it for next time? Just like a quick mental note, talk to yourself real quick, like, okay, that wasn't okay. And that'll apply to everything. When you're losing an interaction, when you're winning an interaction, talk yourself through it. Make a clear effort to recognize what happened. And that'll help you better memorize it. As long as you're recognizing it, your subconscious is probably going to pick up on it better than it would if you just brushed it off.
Okay.
Looks like we got time for one more game, and then we can kind of wrap it up from there, all right?
Sounds good, dude. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Like right there, I was just content with going for a down throw fair. I knew even if he died, I was probably going to catch it with the yellow fair. I wasn't too worried about going for anything crazy.
Right.
You want to grab there?
Yeah, I did.
It's one of those things of like, all right, Olimar's running away. Olimar's got a blue. I know what's coming. Let me just shoot in that smash out and cover it. Yeah, and no, that's totally understandable. And you'll fight opponents. The better you get at the game, and the more you play with certain people who are kind of good at recognizing that. And it's not bad to go for those things. It's just I was ready to call it out as someone that's gone for that tactic a million times. Honestly, this is going to sound a little weird. Your Olimar is probably one of the most unorthodox I've ever played in that I couldn't read you sometimes. I was like, all right, I'm dead. And I'm like, I just got hit? It's like, okay, that's not the optimal thing to do, but it works, right? You get the hit. So I think that's cool that you have this very unique play style, and that's good for you, right? Like, if you have your thing, stick to it. The big things for you are finding the little ways to optimize it. So what I want you to work on moving forward is like making sure you're always or trying to always pay attention to what color Pikmin you're using and trying to deliberately go for the proper choices. And you won't always do that. Sometimes you'll smash with the white or grab with the red or whatever, but just going, all right, what is the best I can do in the situation, or what is the best I want to do that I can make the most out of, right? If you go for the up throw at 70, make the most out of it. Don't just do it because it's a force of habit, right? Let there be reasons behind it. Definitely work on trying to get purples more and incorporate them. I'm not sure if you watch a lot of Smash players, but my VODs are always really good if you just go look up tournaments of me playing or things like that. Or if you
that's I realize a lot about top Olimars. They're always just like at any time between stocks, just pitching a few Pikmin off.
There's little bits to do to get us to the ideal spot, because we all have our ideal lineup. It's different, but like for me, if I get 2 purples and like a yellow or a white, I'm gonna take someone down. Doesn't matter who they are. Shuton might like red, blue, purple, things like that. That's a lineup I see with him a lot. So find your own rhythm, but recognize each individual Pikmin's like traits and their attributes and how you can push them to their limit and how you can implement that into your play. If you do a lot of like aerial stuff, yellows are king because they're so good at outranging people. Purples hit hard, all right? So push that more. Things like that.
Okay.
Do you have any last minute questions?
Last minute question. No, honestly, I feel like I got a lot of concerns and just not really opinions, but just a lot of thoughts of
It's
kind of best just through playing. I mean, I think that's kind of the best thing is just playing and talking at the same time.
It's hard to point out a lot when there's no offense, when there's so much to work on, right? There's a lot of groundwork to build that an hour is not going to give me enough time to break everything down. So I want to try and point out the most important things that I was like, oh, you're not doing this, or oh, you're just doing this for the sake of doing it, and kind of put the building blocks in your head so you can go, next time you play, you go, oh, Myron said I need to watch out for this, and I just did it. Now, next time, you'll try and catch yourself before you do it, right? Or as long as you're making that effort, the improvement will start to show, and you might be able to work past that plateau and have a better awareness of how you're playing and why you're playing that way.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll get this stuff uploaded. If you ever have any questions or something, don't hesitate to shoot me a direct message. I can definitely try and help here or there.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'll definitely use it. I mean, you've been very open and very helpful, so I'll be back for sure.
Sounds good, man. Have a good day.
Thanks, man. You too.